What's up, everybody? How are you doing this fine evening? I hope you're doing well, and I'm doing well as well. I'm very excited today to look at Etch and the loops that they have in there. I've played with loop grids, of course, in the past with Elementor, but also in BricsBuilder. BricsBuilder calls it query loops, if I remember correctly, and Etch does it a little bit different. It doesn't have a user interface right now, but in future it will have. And today I just want to see how it works and discover to see how we can get it to work. As always, I need to find a way for everything is working and if everything is working as expected. So I'm going to check that out right now. Let's go into our chat. Let's see, chat. That was the different chat. It was the OpenAI chat. It's not the one that we want right now. Let's see. Stop everyone. If I'm correct, yeah. It says restream.io in here, but yeah, that's basically me. So it should be fine. Everything should be working. Let me know settings. If everything's okay, I guess so, right? All right, let's continue. So we're going to look at Etch and using the loop grids. If you weren't here, hey Jonathan, I hear you and see you. Thank you for pointing that out. That's always nice to know that we know for certain that everything is working. By the way, if you haven't seen it already, last week we have been watching, taking a look at what's it called? The components itself. How do you create components? How does it work? And how do you add certain things? And I really recommend to use that as a basics for this video, so that you have an understanding on how components work, and then you can loop through the items. As said earlier, it's still in development, but it's an early look and we can have a look at it right now. Let me first see if I can see where the video is for components. There it is. I will share it in the chat so you don't miss it out. Hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Thank you. I will try to do my best. And have a nice evening. That loop is fast to do. Unfortunately, I never sort out yet. I had very busy days. Yeah, me too. Although I'm on holiday, we still have a lot of plans that we are running right now, and we're very busy. We're preparing for the house renovations that are happening in what's called September. So that's like, for me, it already feels like it's next month, so it's quite the thing to do. But let's change screens, and we can look at my install. If you have followed along a little bit, then you know that we have created a front-end already, based on the default that we already have set. I also made some changes after the live stream because I thought it was better that way. I can't remember which ones, but there's a video in the chat that helps you out there. But now let's see if we can loop through these cards. I see that our heading is suddenly gone. You see this? Let's see if we can edit a component and go inside the card to see what's happening. So it gets a props of URL and a props of heading. That should be the one, right? Let's copy this and then we can paste it in. Add the curly brackets. Here still our Etch, our ACSS logo is missing. I don't know what's happening right there. And it looks like there's something broken, or because it won't show the heading too. It also doesn't show as a property right here. Ah, it is. Heading, hello world. And we have added those. So what's happening? I don't know. Norm ipsum heading. Yeah, that should be fine. We can select this one. And in here, it has props URL and props heading. Do we need to remove it? Does it work if we do it like this? Save. Show. Ah, it was hidden. But that's why it didn't work. Oh, damn. So let's add in the href in our link. And then type in URL. Props.URL. Props.URL. And then close it right here. Oh, damn. And then go to the end. And then we can say /a. And now we have a nice looking heading. And we'll show it just to be safe. I see that our blur that we added is not visible. And this has to... why? If I remember correctly, we set it up as part of a CSS in the global stylings. Or was it something different? I can't remember. So there are some difficulties. Let's see if we can recall. Here we have the before, absolute. It has a filter blur of 20 pixels and a linear mask. Let's see if we can make it even stronger. There's a lot of blur happening right now. Let's see if we can add another one. Maybe put down the contrast. Contrast. That should be a function as well. And it's 20 pixel. I don't know how this works. Oh, now it gets a little bit darker. You see it also happening here. It's nice to play around with the filters as well, but that's not what we're here for right now. Let's get back to it. So what I want to do is show the feature work from people that have worked together with me. So what we need to do is go into our content hub, which is our custom post type manager. Have you token each setting yet? Yeah, those properties are set up if that's what you mean. So those are already connected. Let's see if we go inside of card, we see that we have the properties set for here, right here, and that we can change them. Also, there are some things that are tokenized, but not everything, as you can see right here, because not everything needs to be tokenized. And to be fair, I don't know all the ACSS kind of things. And as ACSS is not working right now, I'm not going to rely on it to set the tokens everywhere. So I don't know which one you mean, but I guess my answer would be yes. Let's go back in here. Let's add our, what should we call it? Should it be projects? Because it doesn't need to be a portfolio per se. It can be all kinds of different projects, but for the sake of this video, let's call it a portfolio. I don't know what the plural label is of a portfolio actually. It is public and it's not hierarchical, so difficult to speak sometimes. And I want to add custom fields to the portfolio. So portfolio fields. Portfolio fields is in post type, is not in post type. So we need to post type slug portfolio, and then we hit save, and then we can add a custom field. We want it to be the project name, I guess. Project name. It is a text field. That should be enough. For the next one, we want the project named. We want also a, let's see. Does it show right here? It doesn't yet. So I guess that needs to be done in the backend. It's still an alpha version, so it's a work in progress. So I didn't expect that everything worked, but yeah, let's see. We have a project name. What else? Let's keep it as is. We have a title. We can utilize title for that. I also don't see any options to add something in here. Could be just my interface not working. So what we do in the meantime is utilize the posts. For a next post, we call it the project name. Project name. And the slug will be project name. And then we'll hit create. So now it will create the post. I wonder if we go back into our WordPress, if we see the new custom post type that we've created. We do have portfolio. We can add a post to the portfolio. But I don't see my fields. Looks like this section isn't working. Could also be my setup again, but yeah, it's not working right now. Let's get back into pages, edit with Edge. Go into a side of the content hub. No, still nothing that I can add there. Project fields. And there's also no way of editing the existing ones, but that will be added later on, I can imagine. Let's continue. Posts. So we'll add another project. Another project. Who? And then we hit create. Now we have two examples, and we can fill it up even more by just going into WordPress and then doing that, but I'm going to skip that for now, and we'll just create a loop for this one that we at least see the title that is showed correctly within the component. So if I remember correctly, yeah, here it is. We have a loop, and we also in the future will have an easier way to create a loop. Let's see. That should be above there. And this could be dragged in a loop. So now it's looping. And here we have the loop that's looping through. Let's see. Here we see that it is looping to the recent posts, which is getting the name. Here is post type, post per page. So what kind of post will you get? The posts. That's the one that we are using right now. Posts per page are 10, order by date, or then you can say it's descended and needs to be published, and ignore sticky posts. So we're looping through recent posts, which is set here, and you can edit the loops. Oh, look at that. And we can also alter the loops, if I remember correctly, by changing the arguments right here. And these are the WordPress arguments, if I remember correctly, that you can set up right here to what you want, or at least in the backend. So now we are looping through, and as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3 of the same cards, and the other ones are not available. So we can remove those, and now we need to add a heading name in here, but where can we find that? Well, if we go in here, we see that we have recent posts as item. So what we are actually doing is looping through, so getting all the posts one by one and saying, all right, this post is an item. What we usually do as a development, we say recent post as posts, so that you know what you're looping through if you're inside of the loop. And then in here we can say post dot title. And look at that, we have another project, we have a project name, and hello world. Those are the 3 that we have created right now. That was actually pretty easy to create. So we're done with this live stream. No, I'm kidding. I of course want to go further because this was just a test to see if everything is working, and it's pulling in the posts that we have. Recent posts. It would be nice that we can change the name of the post. So instead of recent posts, nope. It is a more descriptive title though. So this one should be it. Let's go back. Outer space. And we have not something nice. Look at that. Now, how do you change the image? How do you change the text and maybe the URL as well? Well, we can do the same. Instead of post title, we type in post URL, and now our title should be linked. So let's go to our loops and let's see. It is linked, but we don't have a template yet. And I'm wondering where this is linking to. So we can go to developer and inspector. And then we see that there's no href right here. So there's no reference where it's going. So something is maybe messed up in our component. Copy key URL. So that should be it. That links to. But as you can see, it's really easy to create a loop and to add properties as well. Let's see if we can add a small text and maybe some other images. So we can go back into our editor. And there's a plugin that I like to use if we are creating fake data. It's called FakerPress, if I remember correctly. And it's really easy to just create dummy content, as you can see right here. So I will leave it in the chat if you want to use it yourself. Let's also see if everything is still working. Because sometimes my live streams are like, all right, we are online, but we don't want to work. But looks like everything is working as expected. Hey Dave, how are you? Yep. I'm very excited for your live stream tomorrow. It's unfortunate that I can't make it right now, and tomorrow as well. But looking for it. So in FakePress, we can go to post, and here you can set the amount of quantity that you want. Perhaps 3 when it's created. Any parents? I don't want to have any comments, so we can disallow them. We can set which author, but by default it is this one. Use HTML in your randomized posts. Yeah, that should be fine. I don't think that we need H1, 2, 3, and 4. H2, maybe H4 should be there. That we have something to play with. An image, the more is not needed anymore. Do we also want the taxonomies? No, it should be fine. And let's generate. I'm doing great, enjoying the Edge tutorials. Thanks. I'm enjoying them as well, just exploring how it works. So it's a very easy going to see how it works. And I must say, it's still a breath of fresh air. I don't know if I can go back to bricks whilst I'm still doing that, because yeah, it's for now the most aligned option for me, especially with Bricks Forge and Advanced Themer. It's just an amazing experience. Hey Jimmy, how are you doing? Nice of Jonathan to also say hi to both of you guys. So let's get back into Edge. And if I remember correctly, Here we have some example data that is created, and we can see that as well if we go to posts. We see that there are faker data added. So these 1, 2, 3 are just fake data. And it makes it very easy for you to test out any loops that you have, like we have right here. So let's go into our card, and in here we want our post thumbnail, I guess, but I don't know where we can get it. Did it add any excerpt? Let's see. So we enter in here, and here is our favorite page builder, Gutenberg. Ooh, that would be a good one for a live stream as well. Exploring Gutenberg to see how the native version of Gutenberg works instead of only working with Edge. That would be interesting. Let's add some text, convert to blocks. Let's add excerpt and hit save so that we have an excerpt to work with. Could you possibly zoom your screen in? Ah, damn. Yeah, you are right. Usually I do that like 150. I don't see it reflected right now how much I've zoomed in. I've removed the toolbar for that, but it should be around this, right? Thank you. Let's see, we have an excerpt right here, and to the next one. This is what I hate, by the way, that the title is now cut off, whilst the author, categories, and that sort of things, still important to know, but they are more prominent. We can turn it off because we don't need it. We also don't use tags right now. Meta description, who cares? No index, no follow. I don't need any score. Look at that, that looks way better. Let's apply and go into our post. Then let's convert these 2 blocks and copy them all. In post, let's edit it. Oh, there's already an excerpt, so that's nice. Let's save. And then come back. This is the things that for at my job, at my daytime job, I also need to do a lot of times. Add dummy content, actually. And it would be nice that there was some way of doing that native in with Edge as well, or something like that. Because it can take up a lot of time just to create dummy data. Just to have something to work with. Based on your custom post that you've set up. Yeah, that looks better. You're welcome, Dave. Let's see. So I want to add a post excerpt right here. I don't know if they have called it in a different way. Excerpt. And that's the nice thing of Edge, actually. If we just do post, then we can see everything that's in there. And look at this. This is the whole JSON file that's outputting. So here we can go through it and know what kind of fields are in posts, so that we don't have to guess. It's a post thumbnail. It doesn't have any image. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a featured image. So let's add one. That's the only downside of using FakerPress. The images don't, you can't use a setting to always add an image. And that's really sad. What kind of tool do you use for setting a fake data image? If I remember correctly, there is one, but I don't know what's called. Let's see. Thumbnail image, there's an array of none. What's in here? I don't know. If I publish, we can just save it, and then we can go in there in the front end. So let's open this one up. Let's see. It's not showing on the front end. All right. So we open it up right here. Inspect. There's a lot of comments right here. And then we have our data right here. Let's see what's in there. It's the content, permalink, full featured image, none. Is that the one that we need? Yeah. I like my columns to be less cluttered. I use ACE to manage my columns a lot. Nice. Fake bros, I think there's an option to make sure all posts have images. I can't remember. I hope so. That would be nice. I haven't found it either, by the way. For a design I'm creating at work for my day job, I couldn't find a possibility to do that. So if you ever come across it again, let me know, because I need it. Featured image. We don't have a featured image. Where could it be? Could it be the destiny of not finding it? We have the full link. We have featured image. So it is featured image, right? So in here we can say post dot featured image. Look at that. Those are the featured images that we set. So this way you can always do those things. Adding things to the loop, I mean. And let's see. Now we have to find our excerpt or summary. Excerpt looks empty. Let's just go with the flow and see what happens. YOLO! Look at that! We also added that one. Awesome. Hello, little brother. How are you doing? You are a featured image. What the hell are you saying, little brother? Coming in here, calling me a featured image. Let's see. So this is all it. Awesome. This is how it should work, and everything is working as expected. So now we hooked up a component in a loop, which makes it very awesome. They was actually pretty easy to do so, especially when you're coming from development. So maybe you're wondering, what is the advantage of using a loop? A loop lets you set up a component just once and then change it. You can also do that by not using components, but the advantage of using components is that you can use it elsewhere where you are not as flexible into using a loop. For instance, maybe you just want the service to be on the page itself. And then you can create this and use the same card over and over again, but just adjusting it ever so slightly. It looks like Claude. Claude AI, yeah. So yeah, that's the reason why I like using the loops. Let's see what we have next for our design. So here's the design that we are actually creating. We have this section right here, and that's the top one. Then we have our featured image. Well, doesn't look quite the same yet, but we're going on to over the looks and feels later on. We're just focusing on recreating the structure right now. So the structure is set. We have a panel. We also have four here, but here we have 6. So what we can do is go to our loop and change the amount to 4. You can add it in here. That's awesome. I don't have to open my code editor just to adjust the query loop. Oh, that's nice. Now I have to say, the sponsor of this live stream, EchtWP Codebox, also has something very, very awesome. because WP Codebox allows you to create snippets, but they also are introducing an IDE. It's already used on InstaWP, and it's really awesome that you can adjust your plugins, your configure files, but also your default setup within WordPress. And if you want an example of how that looks or what it looks like, InstaWP has a way for you to adjust code. So let's see. This one is the one that we are working on right now. And what we can do is now open it up, and then let's see, login details config. Ooh, am I missing something? Ah, here in tools, code editor. And then we can see that we have open with Codebox. IDE, of course. And when we open up with Codebox, you have a nice way to open all the files that we have active right now and make some changes. I won't be opening this one, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's really easy and handy to have access to this. And you can rewrite the htaccess as well. I wouldn't recommend it directly in IDE. And what the advantage is of using the WP Codebox IDE is that you have a separate login just for the file. So if you want to disable it, you don't have to first download it, open up the FTP, download it, and try to upload it again. You can work directly in the files. It's not always recommended, but for some simple tasks, they can be done very easy. So if you want to check out WP Codebox, check a link in the description down below, or I will send it now in the chat as well. And thank you, WP Codebox, for sponsoring this live stream. Let's get back to the matter at hand. So yeah, that's actually it, what I want to plan for today, just going through the loops. But as we are already there, I think we can go on to the next section. And I want to do something that Kevin does on his live stream, which I think is very smart actually to work with it like that. So what he does is he creates a section with a div, and in there we want to have, I really want to work with containers just for this. But let's just do it like this. We add a heading, this is the accent heading, this is a main heading, and then we add a little bit of text. And then we can add a button as well. So this should be a heading, should be a accent heading, right? Accent heading. Should that one be the first one or the second one? Text, because this one is more marketing focused and this one is more focused towards the user. So which one should be the H2? Which one should be the H3? I guess it makes sense to do it like this, right? And then text and then heading. And then in here, we'll add grab the client's trust. And then we add testimonials in here. And some subtext right here. For the button, we already need to add dot button dash primary. Yep, it's still working, and it's awesome. That's a bad thing, right? We now have a default class that gets this grid, but it only needs to have that on a certain button, not every button. So I can see that this will mess up how we work. So we need to be more thoughtful on how to use these grid settings. But I don't know how yet. Let's see in the future. You're using WP Codebox IDE. It doesn't seem to work if your security plugin disables using PHP in the upload folder. Well, that's something that I can see that they have opted out to, so that you don't destroy everything, I guess. Let's go right in here. So the thing that I saw Kevin do, we need to wrap those up. Let's see, can we do that? Can we somehow click everything? Alt Shift click. No, it doesn't work. All right. We need to add a div and put everything in that div. And text. And then we put a link in here as well. And what he does is create a component out of this. Let's call this hero title section or something. I don't know. Title inner. I really can't think of anything. Intro. There's an intro of a section, right? Intro. And then we create BAM classes. Bam. And then we create a component out of this. Because we are going to use the structure multiple times. Let's see. So what we do is add a text. Another text that would be the testimonials. Then another text for this one. Then another text for the button and another text for the URL. So here we change it to accent heading or eyebrow heading, it's also called. And then we have the heading. Then we have the text. Then we have the button text. Button dash text. And then we have the URL. I'm not sure. They both use both H2 and H3. I think the second is usually like a P or span. I could be wrong. All right. So this should be the H2. And this should be a span. That looks like an H1, right? Is there a clause for that? That has Kevin added a clause for it specifically? And it looks like it doesn't show. Can we use P then? Something happened. Edge doesn't like what I did. Alright, let's reload the screen. Usually when something breaks, you just have to reload and then it should be fine. How's everybody holding up watching this live stream? Is everything okay and alright everywhere? Let's see if in LinkedIn anything is happening. Yeah, we are active there. Hello. And we can send the message. I send a message as myself. And it does pop up everywhere, so it's nice that to know that this is also working. Alright, let's continue. Don't get too much and to distract Lex. We need to do something. So inside of the intro, we want to change it. It's fun. It's fun. Fun on YouTube. We'll add this one. There it is. So we want to exit heading. We can also press this target kind of thing. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Remove this one for now. Then we can select where the information should be put in. Text. Only this one won't work directly, so we need to go into the side and then in here add our properties ourselves. But that's not a big deal, I can guess, right? So URL, oops, props.url, and then close it. So that should be fine. So now we have a default values, and you can see that this is set right here as well. And we can click this, we can see that it's changing to the values that we have set, except for those two. Props text and props.heading don't want to change, but yeah, it's what it is. So next up, what we can do is change the alignment based on a Boolean. That's what I saw Kevin do. So let's try and doing that as well. We'll add another property called Boolean. Add it, yes. And we call this centered. When it's false, it should be centered, and else it should be left aligned. Then we need to add an if statement somewhere, if condition. Can we do that directly here in clauses? We can go in here. If centered then align center. At line 1, invalid HTML string. Aha, I see. So this should be functional, I guess. Let's see if we can add a P in here. Oh damn, my light died. I don't know what's happening to the light, but it is failing on me a little bit too much the last couple of days. So let's select the if statement and put it in right here. And let's see what happens. Is it too dark right now? I guess so, right? Damn thing. Let me have a look, please. Starting to regret buying that lamp. Maybe I will return it if I still have the way of doing it, because it's not working as expected. It's okay for now. So I turn it up again, so it should be fine. Should be fine. Should be fine right now, right? Let's see. Let's close those one, those two. So we have now the if condition, if aligned, then show this right here. I don't know how Kevin does this. Does he add an if statement and then use it for the class? And we can set copy key if pops.centered, then align center. Save. It's wrapping there, so it should be fine. Look at that. We have our line center. Can we do that inside? We can't do that inside of our HTML, right? That it conditionally adds HTML in there. So how did he create it? I don't know. We can do it the dirty way. It should be fine. Div. And this should be a div as well. Div. And then we remove everything in here. This is how I used to write it, using handlebars a long time ago. Then we add a class of centered. Hit save. It doesn't like what I did right there. Let's see on the front end. It does show the if thingies, but if prop centered and if prop centered. We need to close it as well, right? So let's close those two. And this should be a slash div. Let's try to break everything, because it wasn't meant to be used that way. Look at that, it's not like that at all. Nice, we're breaking Edge. We're We're trying to live on the edge. All right, we need to remove it. I can't remember how Kevin does this, but yeah. So that will be on my to-do list to learn next time. How to make a very dynamic introduction setting. For now, let's keep it as is. Hi there, Shiva. How are you? Shivem. Shorts. 2M. How are you doing? Nice of you to join. It's always good to drink tea, by the way. What kind of beverage do you have? I have some kind of Clippers tea, as you quite possibly could see. And it's really tasty. It's like turmeric and some citrus in there. It's quite good. I also feel it in my throat, by the way. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, to be fair. So here we have still the same things happening. And next time I know how to create this better. The stupid light. It turns off again. All right. I'm getting very upset with it. And now I feel like I'm in the right place. It's what it is. Let's continue. We go into the next section. Grab the client's trust. So that this one, when it's centered, I want it to be, everything should be centered and center aligned into intro. And that's now bad because we said as a general thing. I mean, we could use a better band naming to say, instead of intro, testimonial intro, because this is part of the testimonials, but it is what it is. Text align center. And I also want everything inside the div itself. Actually, I want the div itself to be centered. So inside of inner, can we save and exit? All right. How do I boot someone from spamming? Because I have a spammer right now. Search. Let's see. I don't know how that works. I don't know even how you do that from where I am looking at. Ooh. How do you remove it? No idea how I do things. Follow. Block report. All right, we need to figure out how that works for... here we can do things. And then we can block. Block. There we go. It's blocked. And how do we remove the comment? How do we... I don't know. That's why I was talking about Seribot. All right. Let's look at that next time. No idea what it is. For the people who are wondering what the hell is happening, on Twitch there's a spam bot. I don't know how. How do I mod you? I click on your name and then I see a lot of badges and whispers and block and report. I see that I can ban you, timeout, warn, mod. Now you are a mod. Granted moderate privileges to CloudStack. There you go. I hope you don't remove me. All right, let's continue with this one. Sorry about that. It's what happens, right? It's part of it. Let's see. Inside of this section, we want this actually to be in what's called. And let's add a clause. Control Enter. Dot. Testimonials underscore inner or dash inner, whatever the way you like to write. We'll add, and then we say display flex align. I don't know. I always items, center. I always don't know which one I need to use. The right one first try. Usually it is either justify content or align items, but align items felt right in this case. So yeah, I guessed correctly. And then here we can dash content gap, something like that. It doesn't look like it's gabbing the content. Because it's not in the proper field. So in here, that's a little bit Control K. How do we edit? Alt Control K, all right? Control Alt K, there we go. And in our intro, we can say that this is also a display of flex direction rows, flex rows, row column. All right, I have no clue what are my flex directions? Let's ask typing mind. I don't want to ask typing mind if possible. All right, d3.chat. What commonly use flex direction? Damn, direction options are used in CSS. Damn, I'm really typing terrible. I'm sorry. Let's add this one. Chat. That's nice. Flex direction column. See, I wasn't hallucinating, so the auto complete didn't work. So like flex direction row. Let's hit save. Or should this be column? Now it's working. That's annoying. Right, save. And then we can exit. And look at that. Now we have a nice set. But I still want to change something. So Control Alt K. And then in the intro, we want to add a little bit of gap of content gap. And there we have some spacing. It looks very big, by the way. So gap M. Or is it called something else? It's called spacing, right? Spacing M. All right. Apparently, I don't know. And I can't find the cheat sheet using ACSS. It doesn't work. So it's what it is. So let's continue on the next section. So here we have these settings. After the intro, we can exit it. Then we add 3 cards. So let's do that real quick. 1, 2, 3. We can set the display flex. Maybe we should use grid in this case. Display grid. And then say that the items should be 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. Let's go. Grid template. Could be even repeat. Because I want 3 columns for the next version. Repeat 3 times 1 FR. Let's close that. Right. And grid template columns, if I remember. correctly. There we go. Look at that, that looks better. Now we have to change our intro to do something, so we press Ctrl Enter, Ctrl K. I really need to get used to how to do these kinds of things, man. And then we say grid dash area, if I remember correctly. We start at 1 and end on -1. This doesn't look like the thing that I am wanting. But this has to do that the other cards don't have a way of knowing where it should be positioned, right? So we can exit this one. And if we look into our Figma, we see that we have an icon, we have a title, a text, and an image. So let's do that next. Icon, title, text, and another image. An SVG. An SVG does sound more like an icon than this one. So let's remove this. We can do this in a different way because I don't like it how it's shown right now. Ctrl K. And grid area. Let's exit. Let's go inside our div. This should be a card. These are the projects featured, maybe. Featured project. Or some crazy award. Oh, this is the award section. Card award. This is an icon. This is a heading. This is an introduction image. This should be fine. Then we Ctrl-Alt-K to create a component. And in here we need to define and create the BAM classes. So now everything is BAMmed. Next thing we need to do is create using a size for it. 25% or 3, right? And it should be max width. Max width 3%. Heading all around should be what's called space M. And then for gap, but not for the bottom, because we want this image to be over the bottom, or at least attaching to it. So what we can do is top, right, bottom, left. And as you can see, it's now attached to the bottom. For the gap, we will add a content card gap. Is that also a variable in Etch? I don't know. Card gap doesn't look like it. So for now, let's add 0.5 rem. It's not even reflecting it, so that's a little bit weird. I don't know why. Border dash radius is dash radius dash m. Now we have a radius or radii, and then we need this background color custom F7, so we can say background of color dash primary primary light semi light. Could be light. That looks great. How are you guys doing? Are you still following along? Is this because maybe some people are here because of the loop? We did that earlier this live stream, so if you want to see it, then you can loop back and watch it. For now, we have this card that's part of this design right here, and this is the way how I set it up right now. So we have a heading, we have our intro text, and we have our card award. Does this have to do that we need to say display flex? No, flex direction to row column. Yep, and now it's fixed. 0.5 rem. I'm watching. Nice. And I think this is the least interesting to you, right? Watching me doing these kind of things. I was also curious if everything is still working, because I do see that everything is working on my side. But yeah, is that reflected as well on the other side? So we have our first card. Then we can duplicate it, because essentially this is almost the same. This one is the same at least. So we can duplicate this card award. Duplicate. We need to save, right? Simi interested. Still here in the background. Awesome. Twitch and YouTube look great. Awesome. I'm giving you so much watch time. Awesome. If you want to do that even more, I do have a playlist for my for all of my live streams, and giving me a lot of watch time will help me. So if you have nothing to do, want to hear me in the background so you don't feel alone, feel free to go to my channel, go to playlists, and then we have a playlist called live somewhere. Live streams right here. 67 videos right now. Configuration where you can, and you can go ahead and just listen to them on the background while I'm trying to struggle with things that I usually do. So feel free to do so as well in your spare time to give me some watch time. But let's continue. Let's exit this one and then copy this, because we want to have it another. I see that this is not doing what I expected to do. But let's fix that later. And we also want another card that should be in between, and this is the highlighted one, right? We can see right here. We also have an icon text, we have a text, and then we have our avatar. Maybe we could use a slot for that. This, and this one are optional. All right, awesome. I think I've watched 9% of your life already. Yeah, I can imagine. Thank you if you take your time to rewatch it. It would be lovely. But don't feel mandatory to do so, please. I can see that I can get a little bit boring. Just like me getting bored with this. Oh, I worked so hard the last couple of days. We are already into doing some kind of home renovations, and my little girl got a big girl's room, so we bought her a new bed, and we hang up some shelves. And we also wanted to do that for other places. The home renovation will run in September. So at the floor where the entrance is, I needed to make some holes to reallocate how the cable runs from the bottom floor to the attic where I'm live streaming right now from. And I need to figure out how things work. But yeah, busy with that all day, and I feel the tiredness is coming in. So I guess I will end it with this. We did a lot of stuff already. We've added a loop, which was awesome. Then we added a intro section. I will have a look on how Kevin does this because I really want to see and try out how this works. And also the the conditional settings, right? Maybe I definitely want to take a look into that as well, because I can see this one and this one all being optional for a card. And then we can make the card very reusable. I can also see me adding a few slots that we can position the image somewhere, or if we want to add, like for example in here, we could use the same card, and when we have an avatar in there, that we can have that in there as well. And here we have some kind of similar card, but then we have a pricing box instead of an image. So yeah, it's about reusability, but I don't know how much reusable needs to be. We can use one setup of a card and then reuse it throughout the website. That would be nice if we can do that next time. All right. Thank you all for watching. And I hope that you have a great evening and understanding on how loop grids work. Sorry if I was a little bit, what's it called, mumbling or something, because I'm very tired. But again, thank you for watching. Next week, there will not be a live stream. I will be celebrating my holiday, taking a rest. And after that, we'll continue fresh. The lamp just died again. It's insane. And yeah, hope to catch you all on the next one. And as always, keep designing. Now I have to find